I might be the only person insane enough to go on a family vacation, stay out at the racetrack until like 11 p.m. and then get up at 5 to do this.
Up camp, a phrase commonly heard if you're from Western Pennsylvania. It refers to a physical place, but also a state of mind. It's the deer camp, the fishing hole, a cabin, or a getaway you always go up to, despite its geographical location. I spent most of my adult life inside comedy clubs, but some of my best memories were made outside, hunting and fishing the surrounding properties of my grandparents' single-wide paradise. So sit back and maybe have a few laughs at my successes and failures as I look to reconnect with a simpler time. I'm Colin Chamberlain, and I'm headed up camp.
Good morning, everybody. We are on the East Coast. This is the Atlantic Ocean. We're gonna do some surf fishing today. The water is not too rough. It is about 5:30 in the morning. Sunrise is at 6 a.m. Here's the catch though. I have no bait. I have zero bait with me, but I do have a sand flea rake. So, this is a sand flea rake. It's gonna be a beautiful morning, and let's try to get some bait. You're looking for little bubbles, and it almost looks like the sand is shimmering after the wash comes in. So as you'll see here, the water's gonna come in, and on its way back out, you'll start to see little pockets of areas that look like they're almost shimmering or have little bubbles in it. These sand flea rakes are nice because they have the holes in them already. You just drag them through and then you let the water rinse the sand out and hopefully have some sand fleas. So let's see what you get. All right, there's a couple in there, so we got a good start. We're off to a great start. We got some sand fleas early. If nothing else, we caught some sand fleas. This is what they look like. They look like little beetles. I got a little bucket here. I'm gonna throw these in there. If you were saving these sand fleas overnight, what you would want to do is put some holes in the bottom of this bucket and rinse it out and make sure it can drain out, because they'll pee on themselves and drown. If I had a nickel for every time someone was gonna pee on myself and drown, I'd have 17 nickels. Here's what it looks like. We've got 2 sand fleas on there. You hook them right through their digger. They have a little digger on the bottom, flip that up, hook them right through there. We got the pyramid sinker on there. That's gonna hopefully sit in the surf a little bit better. Now, in the words of George Bush, watch me hit this drive. Set it up in this rod holder. There we go. There's your setup right there. Make sure we have some drag out, so if we do get hit, it doesn't break us off. We're fishing now, baby. We are fishing now. I mean, does it get better than this? This is the time of year when like a lot of people will come to Ocean City and they'll like go out to dinner with like 37 people. You know, they have 18 cousins with them, mom, dad, in-laws, grandchildren, whatever. There's a family friend who's only visiting one night. By the way, if you are a family friend and you are trying to visit somebody on their vacation, you're like, we're in town for one night, we're staying at 2 houses up from you, we should all get together. You should be in prison. These families have enough going on. The last thing they want to do is have to entertain you and add you to your schedule. Like, I am such a big believer in like, unless you are vital, mission critical to the vacation, you should not impose your time and will on another family's vacation. But these poor families, they go in, you know, and everybody looks the same. Everybody just looks so beaten down. And they go in and they're like, hi, we have 422 people that need to be seated in the next 7 minutes. We didn't plan our day appropriately and eat anything leading up to dinner. And they're like, okay, it'll take 14 hours to be seated because, as you can see, there's a line wrapped around the block to come in to get all-you-can-eat crabs. And then people get upset. And it's like, any adult that lets hunger affect them, I don't understand. Like, of course, there are circumstances where maybe you don't have access to food, but this is Ocean City, Maryland. You have too much access to food down here. So it's like, get a snack, bring some almonds with you, you know, have a candy bar. Something did clean us off. I might have just came off in the surf. The setup I have here is just a single dropper. So we have the weight on the bottom, maybe, I don't know, 1.5 feet up. We just have a circle hook tied onto a little loop here. Okay, very simple, very easy, tied to a barrel swivel, tied to my main line, and then the main line is connected to, I believe it's 20-pound braid. I use a mono filament rig here. I just find it's cheaper when you're tying a million rigs. You use what you like. I love coming down here in the off season because that's when you really get to see the true cast and crew of these beach towns. You know, like after everybody leaves, all the regular bar flies just come out. And like the people that are like, on Monday night we do music bingo. On Tuesday night we do movie bingo. And on Wednesday night we stare at each other and pray that the other one will die. It's fun. It's fun. These beach towns are fun. Just a quick sort of guide on how to read the beach. As you can see, the surf is breaking right here. What that tells me is there's a sandbar there. If you cast onto the sandbar directly, all you're gonna catch is rays, skates, and stingrays, because they sit on top of that sandbar and wait for stuff to come in, and they're right on the top of that. So right past where those waves break, that is hopefully and should be a trough, which is where there's a step down from the sandbar and a lot of fish will sit at the bottom of that waiting for bait to be churned over from the wash. Also, just before the sandbar, there might be a little bit of a trough. I was here yesterday at low tide, and I know that there is quite a drop off and then a sandbar and then another drop off. So I'm gonna be trying to aim my cast just before the sandbar or just after the sandbar and see what happens. See if we can get some bites here. The rod's bending a little bit, but I think it's just the surf. Well, we lost our sand flea again. Sort of the story of the day, isn't it? Egg rolls are getting pretty out of control, huh? We went to a restaurant last night that had egg rolls on the menu, but it was a Philly cheesesteak egg roll, a buffalo chicken egg roll, and then like a southwestern egg roll, which was like chicken and cheese and beans. Let's cool it with some of these egg rolls. Like egg rolls are good as they are. The egg roll wrapper, what a vessel for food delivery. Oh, here's an edible bowl basically. And don't get me started on the taco shell bowls because you still need a bowl for the taco shell bowl. You can't serve someone a taco salad in a taco shell bowl with no vessel under it. It would be a mess. So the egg roll is one of the best food delivery systems out there. Sort of if you eat it right, it all just contains inside that little crispy missile. These beaches get a lot of people that have like the big canopies, and then you'll have like 4 different families connect up and have like just like a small village of like canopies, just like light blue, aquamarine colored canopies. And it's so funny. Like, it always happens where like the men will end up sitting with all the men and the women will end up sitting with all the women. And you almost want to just say to these people, just go on vacation with those people. Like, go with all the people that you like. Stop bringing your husband or wife who you can't stand on vacation. Go on separate vacations and enjoy your life. This is also like everybody's got a big tumbler, a big Yeti full of like, you know, sweet tea, lemonade, and vodka. Who are you fooling? You know, we know it ain't coffee in there, sister. It's 11 a.m. and you're just crushing a pink Yeti tumbler full of tequila. And I'm here for it. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, who are you fooling? Not the kids. The kids know that mommy and daddy are on vacation and they gotta have a little sippy sip so they can relax. My mother used to do that. She used to drink White Russians or mudslides. We used to go to her friend Eileen's pool, and we would swim all day at Eileen's pool, and my mother would drink mudslides, and then she would take a giant Pittsburgh Pirates souvenir cup home filled with a mudslide. I would say, Mom, what is that? And she would say, that is my happy juice. That helps me drive home. We might be on a fish here, gang. Try to get this set up quickly. Or a ray or something. That really hit hard. Whatever it was, something hit that hard. I don't know if we got it or not. First fish of the day. Kingfish. I had just turned the camera off, thinking like, I'll just sit here for a little bit, you know, and that thing went real fast, a rod, and then a woman was walking directly in front of me, standing there in front of my line, trying to let drag out, so I didn't lose it. Then I had to get the camera on. Got a little wet. As I was bringing it in, I was like, did I lose this thing? Because when you're in all that whitewash, you're like, I don't see anything. You know, the kingfish aren't huge by any means, so you're like, am I just fighting against the current? But there were a couple points where you could feel like, oh, that's solid. There's something on there. I thought for a minute it was going to be like a ray, because it felt a little dead, like dead weight. You might be saying to yourself, Colin, why didn't you cut that up and use it as bait? And I don't know. I just felt like, hey, you know, first fish of the day, send him back out there. We got the sand fleas. The beach provided the sand fleas. So let's do that for now. That was the craziest thing in the world. I think we had something on there and we completely lost it. Because my one fish bites is gone and my sand flea is gone. I think we had something and we lost it. A little too slow, Collie, getting a little too comfortable, getting a little too fat. People are so crazy. Set up your chairs right next to me. You're insane. Start an outdoor show. No one told you to do this. You used to love outdoor stuff, and then you started filming it, and now it's become a job. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's become a job. Do you even enjoy this stuff anymore? The camera's pointed in the wrong direction. You are a moron and out of your element. The camera's pointed at the sky. Couple next to me is really fighting about the placement of the chairs. Seems to be a big discussion if the chairs should go in front of the tent or the chairs should go behind the tent. But like, imagine starting your day and you bring your chairs and stuff out here, and then you just argue about like if they should go closer to the water or further from the water. Or you're like, I think the tent should be up front, the tent should be in the back. Where's the cooler gonna go? Well, where is David and Suzanne gonna sit? Because David and Suzanne, they're coming, but they don't have an umbrella. David and Suzanne do not have a canopy. I told David and Suzanne to buy a canopy, but you know they don't listen. Beach is starting to get pretty busy. Water's moving pretty fast, so I think we're gonna call it here. We're basically out of sand fleas. Also, look how close people are setting up to me. So I'm gonna leave before I become part of this family's vacation. You can come to the beach with no bait. Get a shovel, bucket, sand flea rake, just your hands. Catch some sand fleas, end up catching a kingfish or a croaker or a spot, whatever it is. You could use that for bait, or you could just keep using sand fleas and see what happens like I did. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, if you want to see me do some stand-up, check out my mailing list. Check out my Instagram at Colin_comedy. I post all my dates on there. And if you're out fishing, hunting, whatever you're doing, good luck. Be safe. If you don't like this, send it to your enemy. Tell them it's the best thing you've ever seen and ruin their day. All right, take it easy.